Well, you could argue that those are legitimate questions, but not would necessarily fall under the umbrella of a campaign that's supposed to be about the economy and business.
Yeah,
yeah. Look, I think the debates need to be moderated. I don't think they should be moderated by partisans of either side. I get what conservatives are concerned about 100%, but there seems to be the moderators and the questioners should largely be objective journalists.
Okay, well, we'll talk about that later, because I don't think that word applies anymore.
Yeah,
I think we need to go through.
Sure it does.
No, it doesn't.
I think
and it never did. I'm sorry, Walter Cronkite, who we watched every day, and we loved Walter Cronkite growing up. Walter Cronkite was a liberal.
Yeah,
guess what?
Tim
Russert, a guy that I love and a guy that I respected, who was the best of the best, was a liberal. Tom Brokaw, I'm guessing, Tom, you know how much I love him and respect him. I doubt Tom's ever voted in a Republican primary before. So when you say objective, we Republicans have been forced to define objective as people who were objective Democratic voters.
I agree that many people are liberal, but that doesn't mean everybody is.
Okay, outside of Brit Hume, who has been a conservative in the mainstream media over the past 30 years that you've worked for?
I don't think...
No, this is an important question. Outside of Brit Hume, who has held a powerful position at ABC, NBC, or CBS News on the air? Name me one Republican or one person.
I don't want a Republican. I want an objective person. John McCarthy of ABC News.
You are making.
That's digging deep, baby.
This is a joke.
Ask me for one.
No, I'm asking you. I'm asking
He's
you.
awesome.
Like, for instance, George Stephanopoulos. George Stephanopoulos runs. He runs Good Morning America, and George Stephanopoulos. Hold on, and George Stephanopoulos runs Good Morning America. I'm trying to explain things to objective liberals out there that understand I'm right. We Republicans have to sit and hear about how
you can be objective too.
Right. Listen. Ask Marco Rubio's campaign. Ask Jeb Bush's campaign. Ask anybody's campaign on the Republican side. If I'm not tough, it's tough. Ask Mitt Romney, who wouldn't talk to me, and his family wouldn't talk to me for 2 years because they thought I was too tough during the 12 campaign. But somehow, if you're George Stephanopoulos,
it's okay.
It's okay because you're a Democrat, and that's the club. If you're Tim Russert, it's okay. All I am saying to you, and you can't do it, and nobody here can do it, name the single Republican that has hosted a Sunday show, that has been an anchor of a news network for the big three networks over the past 50 years. You cannot do it. So we Republicans, what I'm explaining is we're told to sit back. Tony Snow, did he host what, Fox News Sunday?
Yeah.
Okay. Fox News Sunday. I just said ABC, CBS, NBC. Okay, you can't do it, and nobody out there, no media critic can do it.
I agree with you 100%.
Well, okay, you don't sound like you agree with me.
I think you're uncomfortable with the truth.
No, I've said for my whole career, there's huge liberal media bias, not just in the examples you've given, but in less prominent people.
What's the argument?
But all I'm saying is find people who don't, the few people who don't fit in that category, and let objective journalists.
Because they're all Democrats. No. The people that run the Sunday shows are all Democrats. The people that, and I'm not just talking about like today, I'm talking about for the past 50 years. The people that have run the network newscasts, the nightly newscasts, have been all Democrats.
I agree.
The network executives have been all Democrats.
He finally agrees.
So if you're I'm not angry about it. I'm saying for 50 years we've been told. I'm only bouncing off what you said, objective. Let's find objective people. The definition of objective for we Republicans is we put up with the BS and the cultural slant and the cultural bias, even from the kings, the people who were the best of the best. Tim Russert, he was mean to everybody, okay? But he was still a liberal.
And he was objective.
Tom Brokaw, tough to everybody.
Totally
objective. But a Democrat. Like, at some point, mainstream media is going to have to realize that they are embarrassing themselves in 2015 because all they do is hire liberals to run Sunday shows and nightly news. And the fact, can anybody, by the way, let me open it up. Can anybody name somebody who is not a Democrat, somebody who is an independent even, or somebody who's, and people are going to go, oh, you know, well, I'm registered independent, but I'm attacked by all sides. That's BS. Hey, name one person. I can name a lot of people that have voted in Democratic primaries in these positions. Can anybody name one person that's voted in a Republican primary, that's run a Sunday show over the past 50 years, or that's run an evening news? Anybody? Can anybody?
I have no idea how they voted, but to me the point isn't about being objective. It's about being fair, and it's not wearing those biases on your sleeve at a debate. If I know where you're coming from, and there are people who've done it this cycle, where you're fair and you ask the question not from a frame that's built on your biases, but your curiosity, and you follow up regardless of who they are.
I understand,
it's not about objectivity.
If you're a Republican candidate, though,
how are you feeling right now?
Isn't it okay to say, you know what, I want us to find at least a couple of Republicans who can be objective?
No, not
as much as Democrats.
Find people who aren't either. That's my point.
They aren't there. Anderson Cooper. Do you think Anderson Cooper has ever voted in a Republican
You think this guy's biased in any way? Okay, that's all I'm saying is, I agree with you about the widespread liberal media bias. I've said it my whole career. Everything you're saying I think is right, and I understand why conservatives feel that way. But there are people like Willie Geist who are not biased, who don't participate in electoral politics, who can be fair. That's what the candidates should want. They should want tough questions from people who aren't liberally biased.
If you got your wish of impartial moderators, impartial reporters asking questions, the Republicans would lose one of their biggest issues, running against the media.
That's true, but maybe we have a better process.
You know what? That at the end of the day is a losing point. That's a losing point. It's like the media biasing. It never works because it makes people sound like whiners. What I'm trying to explain right now is, Willie, that we have been told for 50 years that it's just about impartiality. The entire process is rigged against us because liberal network heads would never, ever dream of allowing, let's say, Brit Hume 10 years ago to run NBC Nightly News or to run CBS Evening News. They would never dream it because there's such a built-in left-wing bias, and I have seen it firsthand. I have had NBC executives, when Meek and I were talking about, there was a rumor that we were going to do
CBS Morning.
Well, CBS. Well, you know what? Guess what? Les Moonves is the exception.
Okay.
I'll just say, Les Moonves likes to win.
Yeah.
So if Les could have hired us, Les would have let us do it. So Les Moonves, thank you. He's the exception. But the Today Show, though, on the weekend, like, what was it, 3 or 4 years ago, they were asking me and Meek if we wanted to possibly do that, and we were talking about it for a while. And at one point, an executive high up said, "Oh, you can't do that. You're a Republican. You're too political." I said, "Oh, you mean like George Stephanopoulos?" Silence in the room. We walked out. Listen, this is something, as we're having this discussion, that the media, the mainstream media, and the broadcast media is going to have to talk about because they're becoming less and less relevant. Fox News exists for one reason and one reason alone, because of this problem. And it's a massive problem. And I think this is forcing everybody to stare at it, because you have liberals that hire liberals and then say, be an objective liberal. And Matt Lewis,
no,
we just don't want to take it anymore.
This is my newscast.
We're not going to take it. And look, the other thing is the technology has changed, right? And the world has changed. I mean, 20 years ago, candidates could not have seized power from the political parties, which were very powerful, or from the media, who controlled the means of production. Now we have the disintermediation of media. Anybody, we could do a debate on YouTube if we wanted to. The candidates are empowered. So really, I think that there is something good that could come from this by forcing the networks to maybe be a little bit better.
All right. I'm going to have to do the news another day.
What's this mean?
Still ahead this morning.
A friend of mine reminded me that Doran Smith, who worked for the Bushes, ran the Sunday Show on ABC for many years.
Yeah, but was David Brinkley, who I loved and respected, was he a Republican?
I don't know what David Brinkley was, but all I'm telling you is you asked for an example of an executive who ran the Sunday Show as a conservative.
He found one.
Oh, no. I'm talking about the executive. No, I know Republicans that run shows. I know a Republican that has a show, me. I'm talking about the executives that hire the people that run the Sunday shows and run nightly news. They don't exist.